It broke in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces. I just received the new hose so we can fix the board on the mini excavator. So let's install that hose and then we should be able to control the board of the mini excavator again. As soon as I touched the fuel filter, I broke it off. I got a replacement for that and we're gonna install that right now. Here is the fuel pump. And the weird thing with the fuel pump is that the intake is actually connected to the outtake. Something there tells me that it's broken. So we're gonna see if it still works. And otherwise we will install a new one. Let's get that off and see what happens if we power it. It sounds like it's working. I don't understand why it was taken out, but if I see this, it should be good. So, since the pump works perfectly, I want to install the pump back and I want to install the new fuel filter as well. Now we need to make a new bracket as support so the filter can actually hang in this place. All the diesel hose is fixed now. So I got the fuel pump here, the fuel filter, and then the fuel pump that regulates the injection to the engine. So this way we should be able to get a running system again. Really nice that this one worked. So let's put some fuel in and see what happens, because we should be able to start up the engine again now. We got a problem. This one is wrong side, as we now got bubbles inside the diesel tank, so we have to swap these two out. Seems to work really nice. Pump is pumping a lot of diesel, so that's perfect. It should definitely be able to keep this little engine running. So we're gonna see how it does. So we're gonna try to start it. Well, it's time to get working on the track that doesn't run a tension. So we have to take the excavator outside and then we can take the track off and then we can take a closer look. And I cannot do that inside the workshop because I'm unable to lift one side up, so the excavator has to lift it up itself to actually access it. So there's two issues, and one of them I want to fix now, which is the problem that this does not want to tension. So we have to take out the idler wheel The second thing is that the sprockets they seem to be weak. So maybe if we tension it correctly, the sprocket will work again. However, it would be a good thing to look into new sprockets as they are worn. Problem 1, the idler wheel. So let's take this one apart and see what is going on in there. This together is the cylinder that's used to sit in the excavator, and it seems like both O-rings are broken, so we need 2 new O-rings inside of here to fix it. But we also need to clean this off. It does not look too good, so probably we need a new rod. Nothing we can do about that, we just have to get it fixed.
Kijk op kbn.com/snelpakkers of actie in de winkel. Snelpakkers van KBN. Haal hem gratis op bij elke Hema of Jumbo. Op. Nu bij voorwaarden op pro.nl.
So the spring broke in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces. So that's completely gone. So that also means we need a new spring. As we do need a proper tensioning, otherwise it makes no sense to do anything else. The tensioning has to be good. So I got this shaft and that is completely worn. So I got this new rod and we're gonna make a new cylinder shaft from this one. So let's start by cutting it up and then we put it in the lathe and make it function like we need it to function. Well, that seems to work perfectly now. So that should be good now to mount back in the machine. Now the only thing we have to fix is the side where the spring is. As the original spring is completely broken. I was already looking into car springs, but that is not gonna work. So I'm gonna have to figure something else out to get this fixed. So I got a new spring, but the new spring is not fitting on this part here. So what I'm gonna do is run that part in the lathe to get it thinner, and that way it will fit inside of here. So let's make it thinner. I'm gonna have to copy this part, but I'm gonna make it completely out of stainless steel, because as you see, this one is rusting really bad. It's also in the part of the excavator where all the mud stacks up and where you cannot clean it. So I really want to make it out of stainless steel. That way I know that it won't rust again, at least not as fast. So I have 2 plates of 10 millimeters, and I will weld these together with stainless steel welding, and then I drill the 4 holes that are in here, And I have to make the center part where the spring can actually go over. So let's go and do that. So now we have to copy the pipe part of this, and for that I also got a stainless steel pipe, so we're gonna have to cut that on length, so let's do that now. Inside this is also a metal rod, and on top of that is thread. I'm not exactly gonna copy it. I am gonna copy the part where it's thicker down there, but I'm not gonna make the thread. Instead, I'm gonna use a bolt, and that is because I found this part in the shelf, and this part actually has a bolt turned in on that side, so it exactly suits my needs. And I also need a little bit of a thinner bolt, as the maximum size hole that I could drill in the cylinder was only allowing a M12 bolt to go in, and that is actually M14. Now this doesn't have to hold any power, so that's why I want to go with the M12, as the only thing that the threading does is to hold in the spring when it is not on tension. But it's always in tension, so it doesn't have a function that far, it's only for mounting it. Now to ensure that I weld it on straight, I'm gonna run this flat with the lathe, then I know if I sit it straight on and I measure it out, it will be all straightened out. Now we can first drill the 4 holes. Then we first can weld this one in place in the middle of the plate, and then we can weld the big pipe in place. I drilled the holes in. Now we can weld this rod on its place, then the pipe, and then this part is finished. I also decided to give the wheel a new layer of paint. I painted it with primer basically, so this way it is protected, but nothing more than that. Now I got one issue. The hole in here is 16 millimeters, but the tube here is 25 millimeters. And the plate that I got in the lathe now actually needs to slide over this tube here. That means that I'm gonna have to drill the hole bigger to get it fitted. By the way, if you're wondering why I didn't make it exactly as that one, it's simple, because this spring is not the original spring. This is a spring I could get. The original spring is not available anymore. Now this fits like a charm. So now we're gonna put a bolt on here. Now we can tighten that a bit. Now we always have tension on there. And then the pot can push onto this part. And this part will push onto the spring. So that looks to be absolutely perfect. Well, seems to work out. By pumping grease into the cylinder, we will tension the spring, and that's actually the track tensioning. These two parts are still loose because this can flex a bit with the spring, and the cylinder is pushing on top of that. Well, let's mount the track tensioner back inside the excavator, as everything is ready now. Well, the cylinder is in place now, so we're putting the grease nipple back in, and then we only have to put the tensioning spring and the idler wheel back in. Well, that looks like a brand new one. It's a bit weird that this is not painted and this one is painted in brown, but this is the way that I can conserve it, so this is the way we're gonna install it. The idler wheel is in, now it's time to get the track on, so it's looking good. Seems to function perfect. So I'm happy with the result. I can finally drive again.